What is good, everybody? Welcome back to the last two shows of the season, man. We got the national championship preview. It is finally here, man, on FBS Friday. Joining me tonight, man, is my guy, my co-host, Clay McCarter. And of course, we got that guy, man, who honestly got some of the best takes you ever seen. This man is slept on. All right, my guy, Kelly Flakes with the Lace Up Podcast. Fellas.
Let's get to that.
We finally here, bro. We are finally here. Now, I wanted to start it off with talking about transfers because at this point, I hate to sound like some of the old guys who are like, this isn't the college football I know and love. College football is changing. It's not the same anymore. I don't want to be one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like they old guys who don't like change, you know? But I'm starting to feel it just a little bit because I'm seeing players who are at programs that are at the pinnacle of college football. Like, it doesn't get any better than Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia. That's the pinnacle. And we're seeing guys leave. And it's not always the guys who aren't getting playing time. And they would just rather go somewhere else to get on the field. You're seeing a lot of guys who are at SEC programs like Quashawn Judkins from Ole Miss, star running back, top 2 running back for the last 2 seasons. He's leaving, and you're just thinking to yourself, like, what's happening right now? Like, you are an established guy at Ole Miss, and you've had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, like 1,500 and 1,100, right? And you only went down because they took some of the load off of you, keeping you fresher, and you're leaving in the portal. So, is there a transfer that kind of surprises you guys? It makes you scratch your head and think, why would you do that? Or overall, how do you feel about it? Like, it's just getting out of hand. That's what I'm saying. It's just getting out of hand.
It's getting crazy. It's getting super crazy. Even the rumors about Cam Ward was that he was trying to get a $1 million deal out of the NIL deal that wherever school he transferred to. I think that's what ultimately went to his decision to go into the draft. He said, well, I might as well go to the draft and really make some money if y'all don't want to give me that $1 million. Mm-hmm. So I think money plays a big part in this. I mean, we just saw Tua's little brother, Tualia Tuavelo. He's going to be in the portal now for Maryland. He's been there like 4 years.
Right.
And they built a really strong program. I thought he would want to finish things there. So that's definitely one of the guys that has surprised me. But, I mean, I would say – in general, I mean, DJ was probably the biggest surprise for me. Him leaving Oregon State and going to Florida State. I think that was probably the biggest eye opener when it came to this portal because he's an older guy. Mm-hmm. Like, what justice does this do you to transfer again?
Besides your coach leaving, but even still, like,
They got a good baseball team. They got a good baseball team. The transfer thing, I mean, it's money oriented. That's the whole thing of this. The whole NIL thing was, I mean, it's just based on getting these guys paid and realizing that now it's free agency. After the year, it's if I'm committing on a scholarship, it's a 1-year contract essentially. It's not, you don't have to commit for 4 years. You don't have to be there and wait until you're grad transferring or declaring for the draft or whatever it is. I mean, it's guys that are seeing, you know what, I'm here and this is my workload. But this other team, has a position in need that might play me more, cool. Or I'm a star running back at a team that was ranked, inside the top 10 majority of the year. I put a great college resume together. I'm going to get drafted. And you're going to go to another program because they're offering you more money. That's essentially what it's coming down to, it seems like. I mean, little ETN for us. You played at us, you split carries. I get that Montrell Johnson coming back and him playing, they were hoping that he was just going to be the guy. But at the same time, as you transfer to Georgia and you think now you're going to not split carries? Like you don't think that you're immediately now you're just their starting running back and you're not going to be splitting carries?
Right.
Like, and then you go to the rivalry and there's no reason he had to go anywhere. It's not like he had to worry about family back home struggling or anything like that, bro. Your brother's in the NFL and he's 45 minutes an hour down the road from where you're at right now. Like, if you want to play for a championship, okay, I get that. But I mean, the transfer thing's kind of getting crazy. And then this next topic that we're going to be getting to is where I'm more interested in a point.
and even to that point, right? Transferring to a rival, going to
I mean,
Georgia. When you started,
if you saw some of them Instagram comments, boy,
I can imagine.
I don't know if some people deleted them or not, but you had guys saying, "I'll meet you at the 50." You had guys. I mean, that was what Cam Jackson, one of our D tackles, was like, "I'll meet you at the 50," and it seemed like it was one of those, like he was hoping to be like a game captain versus a game captain, maybe like saying hi or whatever. And then you had former previous Florida players that were commenting like, "Bro, you broke the code, bro. Like you broke, like bro, like Zachary Carter. Zachary Carter commented under that, and then he started sneak dissing him on Twitter, low key. It might not have been tweets that were direct like towards him, and he didn't say
Right.
like, "Oh, like you get Georgia or anything or tag him or nothing," but he was low key sneak dissing.
I don't even want to imagine what his DMs look like.
Oh, bro, I
know
can
it's
guarantee you.
crazy.
And what's
I
crazy is he
know
still
it's
posted
crazy.
things of Florida. Like he shared the thing of DJ Lagway signing his thing. He signed other commits that were coming in. He's still posting like other guys. It's crazy.
That's
I
like
don't know,
imagine a
man.
Michigan guy going to Ohio State or like vice versa.
But at some point, you would realize, like, you know how much, like, you know how brutal it would be in the locker room, like, in some of these, like, really heated rivalries. Like, if you're the guy that, like, in a rivalry game balled out and you know you're probably talking some crap, and then you transfer it, and there's a couple of those guys in the locker room are probably like, yeah, now you're on a team, now I got something I got to tell you.
Right. They got to see. I mean,
He went.
all right, man. My dog's going through it right now. What you gonna say?
Good, bro. Dog's barking anything.
All good.
No, all right. So just keeping this going, right? I would be more happy, maybe like if I'm the guy who we talked trash to last year. Okay, we can maybe put this to bed because you on my side now. You know what I'm saying? Like we good, but I do not get the mindset behind that. But like if I like, and maybe I'm saying this because I never played at that level. But if I'm a Gamecock and I'm entering the transfer portal, Clips is out the question. I don't want to go there,
bro. But that's the thing is that's not the code no more. Is what it is. All it is bag talk at this point. I mean, think about this. ETN, like for us, had games where he would come out and he would be starting out the gate, but he split carries. Him and Montrell were two different styles of running back. Mm-hmm. Montrell was not. He has like catch play ability, but ETN had better hands. He was better, like more of a better receiving back, and he was just brutal in open space. Montrell was like more of a bruiser, like he can run between the tackles, get outside of make a move outside somebody's front seven. It's him one-on-one with a safety. He might be. I mean, I like his odds majority of the time. He's a bigger guy, but to think that okay, you played at us and you had good seasons. Like you were getting looked at by the league. Like everybody, like the nation's already been on notice, like that you're good. What is the motive behind going to the ops? Like what you think that the same scouts don't come here, they go there? Like, bro, you're going to play in the same league one day. It don't matter where you go or where you finish. Like, why don't you just, bro, you had one more season, and then the keys were yours your senior year, and you just got to do it by yourself.
Yeah, now even the old transfer rules made it hard for you to transfer within the same conference. Like you literally had to leave the conference to really transfer and be able to play the next year. These new transfer rules, they don't even care. But I will say this though, the UCLA USC rivalry is so soft because they do it all the time. People transfer from UCLA to USC, grad transfer a year from USC to UCLA, and nobody even really blinks an eye. And then they kind of diss each other at the rivalry, but it's still not like this though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so some of these little West Coast beats not as sticky as the Florida Georgia for sure.
I remember we talked about this in the thing. I think one of y'all screenshotted it and sent it to me or something about ETN transferring to Georgia. And honestly, I was like reading about it. I was like, man, either he's like plotting because his brother's gonna go somewhere else in the league and he just wants to be close to family, or like he's like, man, I want to go back to LSU. Like I want to go to like LSU and be back in Louisiana because he's from Louisiana. Bro, that thing popped in my phone. I was like, bro, what? Are you kidding me right now?
All right, so next topic, right? Mike Farrell is tired of bowl game opt-outs. So he came up with a 3-step, just 3 solutions to kind of put an end to that, in his opinion. Number one, the player should pay back tuition for the full academic year. Mind you, I'm just paraphrasing because in his article, it was very snappy. Like you could tell he had emotion when he was typing this. Okay, so number two, the player should pay back room, board, and the meal plan. And number three, you should refund a portion of your NIL payments. Not all, just a portion. All right. So what was y'all thoughts on that?
Bold take, ready? I don't disagree with what he says in any of those points aside from the room and board and the meal plan thing. I mean, you can't when you're getting there, they have a team of nutrition staff, and they're telling you this is what you need to be eating, making sure that you're if they're hey we need to bulk you up, or they're telling some guys to slim down. Some of that stuff you can't really control. Refunding a portion of your NIL payment, absolutely. I think that's a perfect idea. It should be the same thing for all these guys in football on the professional level, in baseball, in basketball, where if you make Pro Bowl, if you win MVP, you make the playoffs, you win a Super Bowl, whatever, how there's these incentives and bonuses, it should be the same thing. This is your NIL deal. If this is how it's going to be able to make it so where talent is staying in the bowl games, the games that mean the most, then yeah, make it to where, all right, your NIL, your valuation is, if it's going to be based on a yearly basis, let's use the number 250,000. Cool. Your NIL deal is $250,000 if it's for this 1 year. You don't play in the bowl game, it's $200,000. Give them an incentive. Make it to where it's like, man, if you want this full amount of money, then make them an incentive. If it's guys that are playing in a meaningless bowl game, if it's Jadeveon Clowney at South Carolina and he's playing the Tax Slayer Bowl, knowing he's about to be a top 3 pick, there should be some things that are stipulations to that. Like if a guy's a projected, first round pick, 100%, like the guys that are invited to the draft, then make a little bit of a clause there, because obviously the dude worked his tail off for 3 years, 4 years, 7 years, Bo Nix, just kidding. Make it something that's incentivized to where these games can still remain full of talent. There's got to be a way to where you can't have. Imagine if this was, I'd say, 5-10 years ago, and you go back and look at some of these dominating offenses or dominating defenses that are just we're going to sit out, and they got 5 or 6 guys that are going to go probably top 3 rounds on defense. You got some of these guys that are going to come behind you that probably only played 30, 40 reps because you guys were in. I mean, it's I don't know about the whole meal plan thing, but I think that the tuition, you can't make a payback tuition because technically, it's still a scholarship. The NIL is just off of your name, and then make the university being able to profit off of you, and you get a little cut back. But the refunding a portion of your NIL, I agree 100%. Incentivize it. Make them want to play.
My thing is this, right? If it's the GoDaddy Bowl, or the what the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, and you don't want to play in that, and you got a high draft stock, maybe I get it. Maybe I understand, right? I still wouldn't be mad at the school for being mad at you, but maybe I get it. But if you're in the Cotton Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, which is a part of the playoff system, I think. You know what I'm saying? If it's a big name bowl, a traditional bowl, I get it's not the playoffs, but this is still a big stage. I think it's still a big enough stage for you to want to play in it instead of opting out. But that's that's just me. Kelly, what you think?
Yeah, well, hear me out. I think that these options that he's giving us is just gonna inquire people not to want to play football. I think that the actual problem, he's not really attacking the problem. I think the problem isn't the guys that are opting out that are upperclassmen and getting ready to go for the draft. That's gonna always be a thing. That will never not be a thing. The problem is the underclassmen that are hitting this transfer portal before bowl season even happens. And I think the biggest issue is the fact that the NCAA opened up the transfer portal on December 4th and closes it on January 2nd. That's bowl season. You effectively have ended bowl season if you open the transfer window before these kids' last game, which would be the bowl game. If you open this portal later, which would be maybe December 25th or 26th, close around New Year's, early signing day would be specifically for high school seniors. We will see more high school seniors get signed at that time because the portal would not be open yet. Meanwhile, these guys that still want to hit the portal, they can do it after their bowl game. I think that would lead to less opt-outs. I really feel like Farrell just kind of came at this and is trying to attack the players, whereas these players are just using the game that we give them, right? We're giving them the rules. They work within the rules. If you open the portal this early, things like this is going to happen. But if you open it later, we may see more players playing bowl games.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Alabama loses in overtime, and here come the Florida State players, right? Because now they feel like they got vindication. There, you see Jordan Travis with the little emoji, right? Which I can't describe. You know the emoji with the little slanted face, right? You got, I think it was a defensive lineman, Daryl Jackson. He said they ain't deserved that ish anyway. The kicker, who's now in Oklahoma, was like, yeah, pretty poetic if you ask me. Like, and clearly, only a few went to social media, but a lot of them felt this way. If you saying this on social media, me personally, when I seen that, I thought it was incredibly lame. Because number one, I don't care. The anger shouldn't be with Alabama. What are they supposed to do? Say, nah, we're not gonna take it because y'all didn't let Florida State in. What were they supposed to do? Yeah, no, we're happy to be here. Thank you. Second of all, y'all are talking as if they got blown out by Michigan. They had the lead with 3 minutes left, and then they just let it go in overtime. Like this, what are we doing? Like, what are we talking about? Y'all got dogged by 60. Which, yes, I get all the transfers you had out. 60 should not still have not been put up on y'all.
Georgia still was missing guys. That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody's making all this thing of, we had all of our transfers and guys opted out. Georgia's had a list that was equally or maybe longer.
Georgia's freshmen put up 21 points on you.
Yeah, and if you opted out, I don't want to hear from you. What are we talking
about?
Yeah,
you opted out, I don't want to hear from you.
Sit down.
Yeah, no, I don't. Because, I mean, if you're Florida State, you had a chance to be undefeated and go, hey, look, we're undefeated and you're not. But that didn't happen. They didn't go out and play that last game. So, no, if you opted out, I don't want to hear from you.
Yeah, you're also upset. Bama beat Georgia. And you just got boat race. These boys just put belt to behind on y'all. And you're saying, we should have been there. But you should have worried about the scoreboard having that big of a gap is what you should have worried about.
Bro.
Yeah, nah, it's talking from the sideline. And I mean, look, I get it. They wish they were in the Rose Bowl. Florida State was once in the Rose Bowl. You remember Jameis Winston and his name, Kelvin Benjamin. So I know a lot of these guys are feeling emotional about it, but so what? You didn't get picked. You didn't play your final game. And now you're getting ready for the draft or you're in the transfer portal. And that's what it is. Don't get on Twitter and pout. It's too late for that.
Spent too much time on social media complaining when you should have been watching more film of trying to prevent having 60 hung on your head.
It's just the anger being directed at them. Like, what we like? Come on, bro. Like, what was Alabama realistically supposed to do? Now we're not gonna take the invitation.
We feel bad for FSU. We feel bad for FSU. You can ride my bike. Don't worry. Get out of here, bro.
It was just, and also I didn't type it, but Michigan obviously won the game, so they got bragging rights. They can talk. I have no problem with that. But a Michigan, I think it was offensive lineman. He was asked after the game about was there any worrying going into the game about having to switch the focus on Alabama instead of Florida State, and he basically said we never worried about Alabama. That's cap. Congratulations on the win. But that do not cap, okay? I feel like he was feeling good because, like, okay, we're going to the national championship, so let me be confident. My boy, if we go back to that video, y'all was stressing, bro. Y'all was looking like y'all just got that I'm late text. Like, I don't want to hear that.
That's like saying, "Oh, I'm not worried about Mike Tyson." Bro, Mike Tyson is almost 60 years old. Like, he won't beat the brakes off you right now.
Bro.
What? It's because stop. Not worried about Alabama.
Yeah. To the victor gets the spoils. It's almost like, you win, you can say whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, I mean, be real, Michigan. Are you going to schedule Alabama non-conference next year?
Be about it.
I mean, are we feeling that confident, or is that just we just beat them, so we feeling good today? Because all of a sudden now JJ McCarthy is the best quarterback in Michigan history. The kid just threw for 2,300 yards in the season. I mean, but to the victor gets the spoils. So,
all right,
middle school quarterbacks who put up more yards in a season than he did.
Okay, exactly. All right, Missouri and Ohio State. We saw the game. Missouri won 14-3. A couple thoughts watching this game. After the game, a hashtag was trending saying "Fire Day," and I'm gonna ask y'all how y'all feel about that. If he should be fired or not. But as far as the game goes, like, it looked like Ohio State was not prepared for this at all. And they had 3 weeks, so it's no excuse. Like, I don't want to hear the excuses, bro. You had 3 weeks to prepare for this game. Special teams was horrible. I mean, somebody got to tell my boy you can't be doing fair catches inside your own 10. Somebody should have made that known to him. The offensive line was bad. Their average starting field position was at their own 16. I mean, it looked like they weren't there. Like, I don't know where their heads was at, but it just looked like they weren't there. I'm not used to seeing this from Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it was really shocking to see the game come out that way. I don't know. Like, it was just weird watching it, and I feel like Ryan Day and that coaching staff needs to be blamed for the majority of that. Because what were you doing in those 3 weeks? What was the mindset? What were y'all? Was y'all just? Was this just a vacation? Like, what was this? But and I'm gonna ask y'all thoughts on it and about Ryan Day. Do you think he should be fired or not? Because a lot of Ohio State fans are upset.
I'd say start off with, like you said, I think that he didn't. I mean, they didn't look prepared. They didn't look prepared, like, whatsoever. I mean, like you said, it almost seems like it was. We just kind of looked over Missouri, like, oh, it's Missouri. Like, we've been good all season long. Like, we were this close to really doing something this season, and they just kind of slept on Missouri. But Missouri's got a 3-headed monster. Like, that running back, receiver, and quarterback, that little trio right there. I mean, I'd say they gave a lot of people fits. But the whole firing Ryan Day thing.
What's going on?
Firing Ryan Day thing, there's two sides to it. Who are you going to replace him with?
Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
And this is also, I think, the first time in his coaching career since taking over after Urban that he's had mid-play from the quarterback position. If you think about it, they've really had great success in the quarterback room for a little bit. It's kind of like what's going on with Clemson. Like, they're starting to just get it together a little bit better with their quarterback room. But, I mean, he wasn't really that great, and I feel like everybody knew he was going to be leaving. So it's like, I don't know. I guess they just we're just going to wake up and go play football, and slept on. Mizzou's going out there like, we're going to come out there and try to beat the brakes off these boys. Like, we got something to prove. But
you shouldn't fire Ryan Day. Let me just say that right now.
Yeah, because who are you going to replace him with?
I get it. I get Ohio State is upset. I really do. However, there's no better. You have nobody better right now. It just makes no sense. Just take time, calm down, all right? Because I understand this is not the expectations that you have for a program of such high regard. But hey, it is what it is. You had a down year. We knew going into this year you weren't going to be a national championship team. I mean, you came close at some point during the season, but Kyle McCord was never going to be C.J. Stroud. He was never going to be Justin Fields. You weren't going to get there. Chill.
Yeah.
You just got a quarterback from Kansas State. I forget the guy's name, but he was pretty productive there. You got Aaron Nolan, a 5-star quarterback on the way next year. Just you knew what this year was going to be.
Aside from I feel like we had an episode where we were talking about coaches that were kind of like CEOs and then guys who were glorified coordinators. And then we had a little bit of a conversation talking about what coaches are considered like untouchables. Like they're not leaving their school to go to another school. And I think we talked about Ryan Day being like that. In the event that say it was alternate reality, they said we're done, we fired Ryan Day. Would you see like a offensive minded guy excel the program like Lane or Lincoln? Or would they be like, yeah, we probably don't want, Lane's probably not a fit for us, but if you were going to replace Ryan Day with active CFB coaches that are not Kirby Smart, Dabo, or Saban, who would you replace him with? And not Harbaugh, obviously.
I mean, super short list, but maybe throw Sark on there. I mean, when it comes to Ohio State, like that's a big name job, and it's all this fire day stuff. This is overreacting. Like this is Ohio State fans understanding they in 2023 now. Bowl games are a mixed bag. You don't know what you're gonna get. You lost your starting quarterback that started for 13 games in this one game. Then the starter comes in, he tears his knee up. It seems like. Bring in the younger guy, and he has a problem too. So, I mean, it's not a talent thing. This is a year you run into a year with, honestly, you got a mid quarterback for the first time in a long time. I mean, C.J. Stroud looks like a straight up stud. It's probably going to be rookie of the year in the NFL right now. It's hard to replace that. It might take a year or two, and it has, and that's fine. But being able to still have guys like Marvin Harrison, he sat out. Ibuka played a great game with the backup quarterbacks. So you still have a lot of talent there. You got a great offensive coordinator in Harline down there. He's a absolute stud. He brought in a lot of receivers. That whole receiver tree is all Heartline. And offensively, this is probably the worst game I've seen Ohio State play in a while. But also the inconsistency at quarterback led to that. We kind of all saw it coming. It was a storm kind of waiting for him because Mizzou has been so good. We talk about Mizzou every week, bro. And even seeing them into this. They finally stepped into the spotlight and got a big win. So I'm happy for Mizzou, honestly.
Facts. Now, next up, Alabama, Michigan. That was a good one, right? That was the one everybody wanted to see. All right. Now, a couple things. Penix in Washington is just resilient. I don't know what I hate to admit this because they're a rival, obviously being an Oregon fan. But that team is so resilient. Like, it makes me upset, bro. It's like they could weather any storm when Michael Penix is on point. You know what I'm saying? 430 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's crazy. That's crazy numbers. And we gonna pick who we want to win later on. I'm gonna just say this right now. As an Oregon fan, I will not pick Washington, even if I do think they're gonna win. I will not do it. So
no Pac-12 love.
I will not do it. I'm sorry to tell you, but I will give them credit, right? Because they are resilient as hell. And it speaks to the fact that of that because their last 9 games have been won by 10 points or less, and 3 of those they had to have second half comebacks. So like this team knows how to pull it out late. That's just the scary thing. But I wonder if it's also going to come back to bite them Monday, right? But just as for this game, I thought they were resilient. Penix can just do no wrong. Alabama, though, what was that last play?
I think it was
that last. Can we talk about that? Okay, because listen, man. Everybody wants to talk about how Nick Saban got out coached. Maybe so, because they didn't really make the adjustments they needed to. But you had this game in control, right? You were up 20-13 with 3 minutes left. It is 4th and 2. If you stop them, you're going to a national championship, and you leave the flats wide open. What are we doing right now? Do we not know? Do we not know what Michigan likes to do offensively? You didn't think that was a possibility? Come on, like who? Oh, that was frustrating to see. And then what? 2 plays later, they score. I just in that last play, you could have fixed it all on the last play in overtime. But the center, like he's been doing for most of the season for Alabama, bad snaps, right? And then he just picks it up and runs straight through the middle. I don't know what he thought was going to happen with that. I'm going to at least try to dance around like Johnny and make something happen, but running straight up the middle, what did you think was going to happen? You're not on the goal line. You're not on the goal. You wasn't going to get that, bro. I don't know. Break. I hated the way it ended for Alabama. But what was y'all thoughts on that game, man?
Not glazing, but I mean he's the GOAT. We don't see Saban make very many mistakes. It seems like where you're like that's Nick Saban's fault. Like some of the things were kind of questionable in the game. The broken play because of the snap and him, just reaction, pick it up and just run. I mean, there's only so much time for him to make a reality of the situation, and it's not like hold on, I can pitch, I can throw, or I could just go outside and what seemed to be as the play started to unfold, he's already making contact behind his guard. You could have maybe just you're fast, you're shifty, bro. We've seen you run all season. You could have just maybe hit him with like a little extra weight on the right foot and then came left a little bit, But at the same, it was probably just a reaction, crunch time, and it's not a lot of experience for Milroe. You know what I mean? It's the first time we're really seeing him kind of be able to get into these bigger, higher pressure games. I think Michigan played a really good game. Blake Corum's, he's good. I think he's going to be a problem in the league. Congrats to them, man. I would be happy to see if Michigan can follow up with another good performance in the Natty against Washington.
I mean, I'll say this: that Michigan D line is ridiculous. Like they dominated this game, dude. These guys were so aggressive and were attacking Milroe all game. It made it super difficult. After that first drive, and they really settled in. You really gotta wonder how many offensive lines can handle that Michigan defensive line, dude. So really what I saw from Michigan offensively, I like their variations on offense to make things work. Because really with J.J. McCarthy, he's not a guy that's going to drop back, 30, 40 times and pass the ball. That's not the game that you're going to win. And you got to feed Corum. And we saw during crunch time, man, they have really creative ways of getting Corum the ball, man. That kind of worried me as a Pac-12 fan going into a championship because Corum is a little guy, but he's very strong. It kind of reminds me of Austin Eckler. So guys like that really get a lot of chunk plays and receiving yards and on the ground getting through the holes. So I really like Michigan in this game, to be honest. I thought Michigan was going to win this game. I just was in the back of my head, I'm like, Michigan always chokes, but they didn't. Shout out to Big Blue. But I really liked them, man. I think it was a great Rose Bowl game.
It was one of the most viewed college football games, I think. I don't know how many years, but it was like 25.2 million people turned into the game. Wow. Yeah, it was 25.2 million people. It's the most viewed college football game. I don't think it may have been all time. I don't remember what the graphic was. ESPN put it up right after the game.
And look, since this is the last year of the Pac-12, I'm going to go ahead and say this now. I'm going to put this on the table. The Rose Bowl should be the permanent location of the national championship college football. We got to see the sunset every year, y'all. Come on, man. Natty.
It's a great location, but sometimes I do want to see it at the Cardinal Stadium. I'm not gonna lie, I like that venue too. I love that venue. I want to see it in the Orange Bowl sometimes.
I want to see him mix it up a little bit and start using some of these newer NFL stadiums that are nice as hell.
Bro, I want
that new Falcon Stadium, the new Raiders Stadium. Huh?
The Raiders Stadium?
Yeah, Raiders Stadium is nice as hell.
Like I want to see it in different places. I love the Rose Bowl though.
Do you imagine the vibes though? Like we're flying out to Vegas to catch the Natty. A weekend out to catch the Natty, like, oh, in Vegas? Come on, man.
Dog.
I'm a Raider fan anyway. I'm kind of down with that though. All right, let's go to Vegas, then the Rose Bowl. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, the Washington Texas game. I just want to ask y'all a question because I it was no overreaction, not an overreaction, but I kind of want to talk about it. Was that a PI at the end of the game? At the last play of the game? Did y'all think that was a PI?
No.
No.
Nah.
Okay, Skip Bayless thinks otherwise. That's why I'm asking.
Huh?
He went on national TV and he was, he thought it was a PI, man. He was trying to make a case for Quinn. Me personally, I kind of blame that last play on Quinn. I'm gonna be honest.
It's his fault.
It's his fault. What throw was that? Why would you put air under that throw? From what I've seen, the DB was behind A.D. Mitchell. You dart that. You dart that.
Back shoulder fade. The corner's at 10 yards.
Skip Bayless need to stick to glazing MJ and stop talking about calls and this and that. He needs to just focus on waking up in the morning to his shrine of Michael Jordan and focus on that.
Yeah, I don't know what he was really seeing on that. Because even then, like the defensive back timed it so perfectly. He didn't even touch him before the ball hit. He just jumped with the ball. Like where was the pass interference?
That was on. I feel he has to live with that. And I'm sorry to say, but that
right.
That it could have been a better throw, bro.
Yeah. And look, I will say this too. As we get into the game recap, I think Quinn Ewers might have been concussed, dog. I know y'all saw that sack he took. Well, I don't know if it was a sack, but he ended up getting tackled, fell back, hit his head on the back of the turf.
Mm-hmm.
That was like in the fourth quarter. After that, he was on the sideline. He did go through concussion protocol. They put him back out there. I think the boy might have been concussed. He did a great job throughout the game, but towards the end of the game, some of those throws kind of seemed a little bit more like practice-like. You know what I mean? Not really based on situation, ball placement and stuff. Seemed like more stuff you just do in practice, muscle memory type stuff.
Can I say that I think concussion protocol is a joke?
It is.
In itself. Like, what are you asking him? 3 questions and then it's like, all right, get back out there. No, bro. What are we doing right now?
Quinn hit his head, and when he hit his head on the ground, the right hand went up just like this next to his head, like, and then he got up, like, come on, man. Like, we saw that.
Oh, yeah, bro. Yeah. I don't put it past it.
I thought both of these four selections, I thought it ended up with having 2 really good matchups, 2 really good games. It was showing what would have been the inevitable, where it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered if you put the transfers for FSU or anything, even if it might not have been a Georgia 60-point difference. I think that a lot of these other teams that were, with the current state of where FSU is sitting, a lot of these other teams in the playoffs would have kind of boat raced these boys, and it wouldn't have been as good a matchup as we've seen with them being, 1-score games. The highlight of this, man, I watched that. I don't know if you guys saw, it was a big video that was being circulated on Twitter of like a 2-minute breakdown of some throws for Penix. That man has an absolute dart. He throws frozen ropes like 30 yards, 40 yards with like of a release, like no problem. Like he's accurate too. Like it's not like he's throwing it's like a sloppy ball. Like he's throwing a Chris Leak spiral out here, 40 yards on a rope, like no problem. Shout out to them, man. I mean, I was kind of thinking Texas was going to do it. I thought we were going to see a Bama-Texas recap. That's kind of where I was thinking that this was
I wanted it so bad.
I wanted to see it, too, because it was like the last time these boys met, you had Colt McCoy getting hurt, all that. I thought it was going to be like the storyline kind of making thing, but
right.
It kind of makes sense now. You think about it, where you got Michigan going down and Washington going up. The logos kind of make sense for the hype coming up to it. So, man, it would have been kind of cool to see Arch kind of maybe come in there if he would have. Quinn would have been like, "Oh man, I ain't feeling it," which he probably should have, and Arch just come in there and just start just throwing darts at left or right,
darts.
Left
Oh
right,
my
take
God.
over, win, and then it's Quinn's like, "I'm out of here."
That's a Hollywood script right there.
Oh yeah,
Boy, not throwing no darts with that noodle, man. But I will say this, though. We're still looking for Xavier Worthy, man. I heard he's in the witness protection program. Hadn't been to find the boy since the fourth quarter with about 8 minutes to go. Texas did a good job. I like the boy Jaden Blue, running back, did a very good job out there receiving and running the ball. But, like we're saying, Washington, Penix, it's the reason why Penix was a Heisman candidate, right? Penix, probably one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football today. The arm strength that he has is never pushes it too far, right? He still knows how to hit windows. He doesn't do too much, right? It's kind of the difference between him and Joe Milton is the accuracy, right? The accuracy we see with Penix and really the type of weapons they have at Washington. Rome Odunze, guy that put on 15 pounds before the season just to get better. McMillan over there. They have a ton of weapons. Polk is a dog too. But the only thing that kind of worries me and I take away from this game is the fact that their starting running back played so well and they're not going to have him in the national championship. I think that's what worries me the most because Washington really got this running game going. That's what opened a lot of things up downfield. It made Texas have to commit more guys to the box to stop the rushing attack. And then you leave a Dunze out there one-on-one with some guys on the island. So Washington does a lot of cool things on offense. And that's really why I like them so much, but also love them because they're in the Pac-12. And I support this Washington and Michigan matchup because it is now a Big Ten matchup. So, shout out to the Big Ten. Whoa, whoa. You know what I'm saying? I'm gang now.
All right. And finally, man, it all comes down to this. Michigan and Washington. Let's talk about it. Like I said, for many reasons, I'm not picking Washington. Forget them. Don't care. Don't. I really do hope them. I hope they lose. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to see them win it before us, and I'm being honest about that. But in a realistic sense, my bias aside, I still wouldn't pick them only because of what I saw defensively from Michigan. Like Jalen Milroe's first 6 dropbacks, he was sacked 4 times. 4 times in his first 6 dropbacks. If Washington can't protect Penix, it's over. In my opinion, if they can't protect that man, if this is the same story, it's over, bro. The defensive line played too well. Plus, do we not feel like Michigan's offensively that they have the best offensive line in football, in college football?
I mean, I would say
or at least one of the best.
They're top 3, probably not 3. There could be 1, but I'd say you got to make the argument. Probably, Georgia probably got one of them. I'd say Georgia probably has the best O-line in my opinion. They're just star-studded in the trenches. Like it seems like every single year they get a guy who's a 3-year starter, and then end up being first-round draft pick, early second out of them. I mean. Michigan, it's gonna be fits for Washington with that front 7 for Michigan. But it's gonna be fun to see how Pettit can react to having to scramble around that much. He's gonna have to use his legs a lot. Obviously, he's not gonna have, like you said, he's not gonna have one of his weapons. But I think that Washington has the offensive firepower to really kind of try to air out Michigan and see what that secondary is really hitting for. But you got to have the time to do it. Now I'm worried about Washington's defense against their O-line and their running game because them boys are going to have that 2-headed horse just beating these boys down to get later in the game. But
right, and even Texas, that was one of the main concerns coming from Washington, and that's a good fact right there. Washington O-line is pretty good, but
shout
Texas
out to our
D-line.
Shout out to coach.
Facts. Shout out to coach. Texas D-line was supposed to give Washington the most issues. That's what Washington talked about throughout the week. How are they going to deal with the interior of Texas D-line? There's really some monsters in there. And at times, it did create problems, but I think that Washington's play calling was so excellent, getting the ball out so fast, a guy with a quick release. And the running game really changed things. And really, when you get Michael Penix out there on the ground, that's when you start getting a little different because we ain't seen Michael Penix run all season. Honestly, I haven't seen it at all. Previously I was worried because all the injuries, but now I guess I'm good with it. So I'm gonna take Washington to win this game. I think the Pac-12 going out with a bang. We haven't made any noise in the college football playoff. Washington went there once before with Jake Browning. Now they're back with a different motivation. You know what I mean? So give me Washington to beat Michigan. I think Michigan chokes. I think we see J.J. McCarthy revert back to his natural self, which is nothing. We see Corum do his thing. But I think that this Washington team is rolling 13-0 for a reason.
I'm going to roll with as much as I think that it's going to be a storybook ending for Harbaugh and we're going to see him all this NFL chatter smoke. I'm rolling with Washington. I'm a fan of Penix. I like I'm going to roll with Washington. Now, I'm going to roll with Washington out of my personal me wanting to see them win because I'm a fan of Penix. I've been watching him throughout the season and seeing that the talent the kid has is awesome. I'm hoping that where maybe some of these draft picks might shake up, I might be able to see my boy come back to Tampa because he's from there. But it's kind of why I got my Bucks beanie on. I think Michigan. I think it's going to be what it's almost being built up to look like. Like it's the Harbaugh. Oh, they hated on him. They took him away from the team, and he still overcame it. And he finally wins Michigan a thing. But I'm rolling with Penix, dog.
You know what? Y'all too. Hey, thank you, Josh. Shout out to HBCU Nightly, my boy Josh. Thank you, Josh.
Bro.
Thank you, Josh. I knew I rock with you. Y'all want to choose Michigan? Cool. But when we come back on here for this season in the wrap up, just know I'm talking trash when they lose. All right? Forget the Huskies, bro. Y'all showing too much support. We ain't even get that much support from y'all. What's this? Y'all, okay, fine.
Hey, Oregon, y'all did a great job versus Liberty, I must say, too. We didn't talk about that in the recap. Y'all did a great job. Y'all really showed them they did not deserve to be in any type of playoff.
That's
Hey, I got good news, though. We didn't lose our bowl game because we didn't play one.
Is that a good thing?
Hey, you can't lose a bowl game if you ain't playing one.
Thank you. That defense causes too many problems. When you can sack somebody on their first 6 dropbacks 4 times, come on. What we talking about right now? What we talking about? If they can do the same thing, I feel like if they can come out and establish that dominance early versus Washington and keep that consistent pressure, I just want to see it happen. I want to see Michael Penix under consistent pressure, and let me see how he performs throughout the whole game. Let me see
Oregon game.
The
first Oregon game. Kobe, you saw it.
He will make me a believer because forget us, all right? Because we choke. He will make me a believer if he can do that versus that defensive line from Michigan. He'll make me a believer. I swear he will.
Y'all see any of those things in the slides of them talking about like some of the quarterbacks for this season of like things that have happened like throughout like going into college and like a college mission? Hey, yo, shout out Bo Nix. You see his final career stats?
All right, hey, shout out. Hey, I can't wait to see you in Orangeburg, my boy. What you say now?
The Bo Nix final career stats or something like I think he's like in top 8 or top 10 in career passing yards, like almost 13,000 passing yards.
I don't know what it is exactly.
I don't mean to crash your rain on your parade, Kobe, but let's think of this though. Also, do these COVID players that get these COVID years, do we put an asterisk next to their stats because they'll never be the same instance for any other player in the NCAA? Like this, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. Maybe in the 40s during wartime, people were getting called to the draft. You put an asterisk next to their stats too. You know what I mean? That's a once in a lifetime. World War happens. You know what I mean? So COVID, can we just put an asterisk next to it?
Yeah, I know we can. I'm for that. I get it. 7 years. I would hope your stats will look great. All right.
They had one of the slides about Penix, and it was showing back to his recruiting. Him decommitting from Tennessee, said that the staff didn't want him.
Oh my God! All right, okay. I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to y'all. Overreaction, not an overreaction. the playoff system sucks because it created a natty or bust mentality. Meaning, right, the guy was basically saying players no longer care about winning the conference championship. They no longer care about having a 10 or 11 win season if they don't get a chance to play for the natty, which is why all these opt-outs are happening. It's only natty or bust, and they don't care about anything else. So for that reason, the playoff system sucks. Overreaction, not overreaction.
Overreaction, because unless you're okay with being your Mark Ricks and your Muschamps and guys like that, they're okay with winning 10 games a year. The mentality, if you're a top 25 team, or the mentality should be to go out there and win a championship every single year. It's not like, oh, we made the playoffs, we're happy. No, you're playing to win the national championship game. So that's the goal, right? When you first game of the season, you're playing all these games to win every game so you can go and win the natty. That's the mentality you should have to be the champion. You don't do it in NFL where it's like, oh, well, we made the playoffs, but that was a successful season. Like, you're playing to win the Super Bowl, bro. Like, you're playing to win.
Okay. Kel, what you think?
All right, let me get back in. Hold on.
There would be no.
Yeah, there you go. Little allergies hit me. But look, overreaction, man. Overreaction. If it was natty, or we have about 8-10 win teams this year. I mean, maybe 8-11 win teams this year. A bunch of conference champions, people that lost conference championship with at least 10 wins. If there was natty or bust, these kids would start giving up in October. We will see a bunch of 7-6, a bunch of kids just, I'm going to opt out, coach. I'm not playing the rest of the season because I'm done with it. We're seeing opt-outs after the conference schedule. So I don't think it's really natty or bust. I think some of the kids would like to go to a better school, or maybe it's NIL, whatever. But the natty or bust, I don't think that's based on the playoff system. It's just, based on NIL.
All right, and last one. The transfer portal should not be open until after the national championship.
I agree.
I like it.
I don't see a negative takeaway from it.
All right, hey, there y'all have it. The Natty preview show is in the books. I'm going Michigan. These two and coach are going Washington.
Go Huskies.
Hey,
Pac-12 forever.
We'll see. We will see on the wrap-up show, man, for this season who's right. It probably what, Tuesday? We'll see how y'all schedule is for Tuesday.
Let's see some score predictions real quick before we get out of here.
Score predictions?
Score predictions. We know who everybody's picking. Score predictions real quick. What's the line? Is the line officially set yet or no?
I don't
know. I don't know.
I don't think I haven't checked or anything and looked today on any of the apps.
34-31. Michigan.
3-point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Washington.
Because I do think Penix will ball out. I do think they will. I just don't think they'll win it.
I'm going 28-24. Washington.
Ooh.
Give me Washington 42-23.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's go.
Disrespectful.
Then don't break, baby.
I'm going Penix. I'm going Penix with 3 tuds and 1 out of the running back. And we know Blake's going to score. JJ's going to get some kind of.
Odunze is inevitable.
Yeah, he's scoring. He's going to score.
He's going to get something.
Score. He's going to get
Polk
something.
is also seems to be inevitable. And really what I think, if the game becomes a high-scoring game, then Michigan's going to get outscored. But if Michigan hops on them early, like, people are projecting, Kobe, then I can see Michigan go ahead winning this game, something like 24-7, just foot on the throat. You know what I mean?
Who wins MVP?
Penix.
He gets
okay.
Penix. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What about Michigan, Kobe?
If it's Michigan, it's going to be Blake.
For him.
Yeah.
If it's Michigan, it's going to be Blake.
Okay. I thought you were going to say JJ or something, man.
I don't know.
Listen, I like JJ, but I don't like him that much. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's the best quarterback in Michigan history. Better than Tom Brady.
What was that statement? Like, what was that to say, bro?
Because he's
Brady
like what?
just doesn't
He's what?
exist anymore?
He's what? 26-1 in his career.
Yeah.
Is that what it's based off of? That I mean, stats
One or
doesn't.
two.
He can't be the best.
Ever though?
Like, no.
I mean, like Greg McElroy might have some stats like that too. Like that, I don't think that makes him the best quarterback in Alabama history.
No. Yeah, no.
I can't see it. I'm sorry. 2,300 yards in the season. I can't do it. But I get the confidence he has in his quarterback, though. I get it. So we're gonna break this down, man. We're gonna talk about this on the recap show. Probably I'm aiming for Tuesday night. We're gonna see how y'all look for Tuesday night. We're gonna aim for that. And so I hope y'all are back to discuss that with us, man, because we're gonna have a lot to discuss that game since everybody in the country is gonna be watching it. But until next time, y'all got anything coming up before we go?
Man, setting up for this national championship game, baby. Root for the Pac-12 one last time.
Man, then we got NFL, and then it's back to that sad part of the year.
Don't even get me started on that. Yeah, so Washington fans, good luck, I guess.
Yeah, to anybody who's fans of either team, good luck to both of y'all. May the best team win. Go Huskies.
Man, goodbye. Bye, y'all. I'm not doing this. This